Page 139, the Can-Can. It's a famous melody from an opera. On pages 136 and 137, they're introducing you to some lovely things. This is a good time if you're struggling or you're confused about things to go back through and do all this part of the book prior to this again. Go through the lessons again. You really need to understand everything and be comfortable with it. Because we're adding more. We're getting deeper here. In the past, we've been in the key of C major. All the way keys, no sharps or flats, just natural keys. And I should have been telling you all this time, make sure you go do the C major scale. And I haven't been doing that, shame on me. The first time you sit down to practice of a day, I encourage you to do whatever scale or scales you're working on. You don't have to spend a lot of time on them, just a little bit of time, just at the beginning of the practice, get them out of the way, and then you start your practice, your regular practice. Because now C major, hopefully you can do the C major scale, one octave up and down. I have a video on it. Because we're going into G major, the key of G major. G major has one sharp in its key signature. It's an F. It's always an F. Instead of F natural, we're going to do F sharp. Well, if I follow the patterns of whole steps and half steps for a major scale, remember that way back when, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. You can check it if you need to, because you're here. It's whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. It follows that pattern. So now it's time to go to my G major scale video and do it one octave up and down. Do the beginner part. Do the trill exercise I explained in there. Do the accents. Drop the wrist like I explained it. Do it just like I explained it in the video. On page 137, they give you the written out notes and all that. I don't like using that when I'm studying scales. I just want to focus on the keyboard. So in the video, I do that. You can follow that if you want to. It's up to you on what you do. I use a slightly different approach. And I like my approach because I know for a fact it's effective. It works. On page 138, they got a new trick there. It's not a trick. I've already talked about it briefly. And I'll come back and talk about it more when we cover Can-Can, which we can do right now. So let's take a look at Can-Can. I guess I should say the Can-Can. They put a the in front of it. Normally it's just Can-Can. That's okay. So look it over. 4 lines long. There's no repeat sign or nothing. We're just going to go straight through it. Treble and bass clef. 4/4 time signature. And now we got to look at the key signature too. That's part of the looking it over. Now it's got one sharp in the key signature. We're in the key of G major. So make sure you're doing the G major scale. You don't have to spend a lot of time on it. Just a little bit each day is fine. Right hand first, let's check because we are moving around here. Thumb starts here. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 4th finger. We changed hand positions. This is this trick they're talking about. And it's standard. We do this a lot. When we have repeated notes in music, here we got 3 Ds. We take advantage of that if we need to change hand positions, which means we're going to use different fingers. Some people like using different fingers on repeated notes. Other people don't. I like it very much. I do. I think it's fun. It's a little weird at first, but it's kind of fun. Other people avoid it like the plague, but even the people who avoid it will still do this. We started in this position, we need to be in this position. So we simply get there by changing fingers on the D, on the repeated notes. And we're there. You get that a lot in piano, so keep it in mind. Anyway, second line, it's 1, 2, 3. Now come down, we're going to come back down to here, so we're going to use second finger. We changed hand positions again. And then reach up to the octave. And this is the G major scale coming down. So once you can do the G major scale comfortably, this will be comfortable. Don't try and say, well, I'm just going to do it here and then I'll have a scale. That's backwards. Do the scale as I describe in the video, and then you'll be able to do this correctly. Left hand's broken chords. You hear, you hit the G chord, then D7 chord, G chord. That's pretty much it. Put the hands together. Here. You'll have to go that fast. When you first put the hands together, you're just trying to get them to work together. And then you go back and you get rid of the hesitation, so it is a nice steady beat at some pace. They don't give you any articulation. So you're going to have to feel the articulation after you get to know the piece and you get into it and you start feeling it and start interpreting it. You may feel some staccatos occasionally, and that's okay. For instance, in the second line, third measure here, some people, they'll play that note short. So the second line, second measure going on. Don't accent it like extra. It gets a natural accent because it's the first beat of the measure, but that's it. It's just short. And just bump here. That's interpretation. You don't have to. Also on the left hand, I tend to connect the first two notes together. Again, that's interpretation. You don't have to. You can do that if you want to. Experiment and see what you like. Then dynamics. Well, it goes to the melody, which is the right hand. It's loud. Whatever you think loud is. Not really loud, just loud. The left hand needs to be soft. And then second line, second measure. Here, that's loud, and then that's soft. All of a sudden, just ooh, and then you gradually go back up to loud. But don't get loud until the third line there. So soft, a little louder, loud. There. You experiment with that. This is one of the things you can practice when you're doing the scales. You try getting louder as you're going up. And then soft as you go down, and then reverse it. Start loud and get softer. And then soft and get louder going down. So you can practice this kind of stuff while you're doing the scales. Again, you don't have to go that fast. You go your speed. I'm going my speed. Then finally the speed of this can-can, the can-can. Brightly, well, fun. It's a fun piece. It's a fun piece, but it has to be accurate, so don't go faster than that. Find the hardest part in here. Here. Whatever that is, and how fast can you play that accurately? That is your brightly for now. It can change over time, because hopefully even after you've been through the book, you'll still go through the book just for fun and play the pieces again and again and again. It's good practice and it's good fun. You'll find you get better at them. They get easier or less difficult, I'm not sure. I like to play this with you very slowly. Let's double check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do the dynamics. I'm just the notes and the rhythm, so I'll give us 4 counts, and let's try it together. 1, 2, ready, go. rest, rest.